Alright folks, what's up? Man Cake here, and as you can tell, I've got some more MLB The Show, playing with Zack for Maniac. This time it is his Double-A debut. He's a starting pitcher, been coming out of the bullpen up until this point. I showed that all in one video, every little bullpen outing combined into one giant video. And it was pretty dominant, even though I'm pretty terrible as far as attributes go. I didn't give up any runs and slowly got better at striking out batters here early in this game and in his career. Starting first batter here, though, off with a strike down the middle. And you'll notice I keep a lot of my pitches low. I guess this is a habit of mine. If you play against me online, you're going to know exactly how I pitch, which is just pretty much low and inside. I work it outside. I work it up, really up, that is, every now and then. But for the most part, I try to keep it low unless that's not working for me. And I do get a nice ground out here that's played perfectly by the second baseman for the first out of the game. Now, for those of you on our channel that don't really follow baseball, one of the reasons you might want to keep the ball really low in the strike zone is that it forces a lot of ground balls, which are generally a pretty easy out in baseball, and they're great for double plays. It's not saying that the ball can't be hit, that's for sure, as this one almost gets through. My second baseman makes a pretty good play and shows off a little bit of arm strength to throw that batter out. But when you're a player like me, at least right now when I'm not terribly dominant, don't have some serious power pitches, you really don't want to be hanging out near the wheelhouse of these batters, which would be like up inside where they can really just clobber the ball. A lot of the best strikeout kings in the league that have some power pitches and some heavy heat on their fastball will do that. But I'm just throwing 90 miles per hour barely at this point, so it's really dangerous to be trying to do that. You'll see me kind of dabble up there occasionally, but a lot of times it's a mistake pitch. Right here is one pitch, for example, where I go up and I don't get the call. Obviously, that was a little bit out of the strike zone. But I am doing pretty well so far. Had some solid defense behind me for my team, which is good to see. And it's one thing you definitely need to consider when you're picking a team, if you're just going to pick a team. I did get drafted by the Rays as I throw a nasty curveball there, catching the corner. He's not liking the call. But, I mean, if you're going to go to a team that has really terrible defenders in the infield, they're not going to be able to get a lot of good plays behind you as far as, turning some double plays. Most of the major league level players don't have that problem, but you will run into the occasional player that is error prone, which really kind of stinks. And while that won't count against you, it'll just keep you out on the mound even longer, which can be unfortunate. But right here, I get this man reaching once again. Back-to-back strikeouts here. Loving that strikeout. He looked like a fool there. So I've got 2 strikeouts through 2 innings. Got one more chance here to add to that total. Missing my spot, and obviously that is something you're going to run into a lot as a not terribly gifted pitcher early on in your road to the show. But I do force him into a line drive here to the left fielder. And I'm through 2 innings with 2 strikeouts, no runs given up, no hits. You got to love that start in your first start. And I don't get a very nice call here. I thought I had a first pitch strike, and whatever, I'll go right back to it. This time he grounds it out to the first baseman. I always run to first base. You never know what your first baseman will do, if he'll juggle the ball or just misplay it altogether. So it's a good habit to get into. You never know when it might be the difference between getting a batter out and getting him on first. So just really got to pay attention there, and it's not terribly difficult to do. Missed my spot here with the curveball, though. Can't really command that pitch yet. It will be a very dangerous pitch moving forward, but do get a little worried here when that one goes to the gap, but it is definitely a pop-up, so that'll be good. Flying out to the center fielder there. And I know this kind of goes against what I've been talking about, but getting strikeouts at this stage in your career isn't terribly important, so I wouldn't focus on it whatsoever. Yeah, strikeouts are nice, but there are far more effective ways to get batters out through the course of a game, whether it's a ground ball or a flyout. So don't focus too much on those stats as you're building up your road to the show player, at least when you're in the minors. As I get a nice flyout here once again. And another thing worth pointing out is that you shouldn't shy away from pitching outside of the strike zone. Yes, you might give up the occasional walk, but it's a lot better than always pitching to contact, because if you do that, you're bound to give up some big hits and knocks to the other team. So definitely mix it up, but right here I've given him 2 good strikes. Obviously, it's a 1 and 2 count, but I go inside, tying him up there with that running fastball. Get some cheese, sir. He gets all tied up, and he's not happy about that. But you'll notice I'm hitless so far. Yes, and I ended it right there with the jinx. Going right up the middle. Can't stop that 90% of the time. I'm not a good fielder whatsoever, and that one was rifled right up the second base bag. But this is a huge play. Shortstop charges that ball. Pitching low, I forced the double play against the speedster. Just a monstrous play. Gotta love it when the defense is behind you there. I've given up 1 hit and 0 runs so far, entering the 5th inning. And my team has already put 2 runs up on the board, which is great to see. Because I remember one game back in 09 the show, maybe it was 2010, I can't recall. But with my road to the show pitcher, I actually went 13 innings before I got pulled out of the game because I was too tired to continue. And we eventually lost the game in like the 16th inning because we couldn't put up a single run against the Pirates or some ridiculous team, and it was just so pathetic. But you know, getting the runs on the board early will certainly help. And I'm at a 1-2 count now. I've been dealing to this guy, going inside with a changeup, finding the corner. Get out of here, shoo! That was just nasty and really well located pitch. Don't use that changeup enough, but it really is kind of my out pitch right now, other than the fastball. Fastball is pretty good, but you know, they can foul that off pretty easily, especially if I keep it near the zone. This is just a beautiful play once again. Defender going to the wall, extending himself and getting a nice out there. And we are now moving on to the 6th inning. I've got 4-run lead at this point, hustling to first base. It doesn't matter. We're just not really phased at all by this team. They can't seem to get any good knocks against us. Going right down the middle here, though, and challenging that man. It was actually a 2-0 count, but I forced it right back to a 2-2 count going inside. Gonna try go low with a changeup here. Kind of hangs out over the plate, but it doesn't matter. That's another strikeout for Zack for Maniac. Not sure how many I have so far, but I'm definitely starting to struggle to hit my spots. You'll notice a lot of these counts actually start off with a 1-0 count or even a 2-0 count. And that's something you obviously don't want to get into, but that's a great pitch right there. It's now a 1-2 count. Gonna do something I don't do too often. That's go high inside with a cheesy fastball. Get some. Another strikeout. So I'm still dealing through 6 innings, heading into the 7th inning, and all I'm really worried about at this point, because I've been doing so well, is getting pulled out of the game because I've got some fatigue issues. As you all know, my stamina is really, really poor, and getting this late in the game, the pitch count will become an issue. But my team is standing behind me, and this other team is swinging early, which is leading to some really quick at-bats, which will certainly help me, you know, grind through these last few innings, assuming I get to stay in the game. One thing you never know with these guys, though, is with your manager, sometimes they'll pull you out after you give up one single silly base hit or, you know, walk late in an inning with a huge lead, or sometimes they'll let you load the bases entirely before they even start to contemplate taking you out, which kind of stinks. But 1-2 count here. My first baseman will juggle that ball, but once again, hustling the first base, that will pay off. I'm not sure he would have got there in time. Just a perfect example of why you should always run to first base as a pitcher. I think in 2010, they used to penalize you for not covering a base on a play like that, which was annoying, but, you know, it got me in a good habit. They seem to have taken it out in this game, though, so I guess you could say old habits die hard. I don't know, but I'm probably going to continue to do it all the time, even though I look like a fool on most of the plays. But I guess it's just some smart baseball, and it's a good way for me to ensure that that's a guaranteed out at first base. 2 outs here in the 8th inning, though, and got another man swinging, going right up the middle. That's where most of my base hits come from, that or line drives down the third base or first base line. I rarely give up home runs, but, you know, you never know. You might see one here at some point. Great play here, though, by the left fielder on the line drive, and we're going into the 9th inning. Zack for Maniac in position for a complete game shutout. Just a nasty swing there by this big guy. Let's see if I can make him do it again. That one's fouled away. Going inside, see if I can tie him up. And no, I can't. He finally gets a good knock off of me there. That one goes right to the center fielder. Got a runner on, and this is where you would normally just get pulled out, even if it's a game where you have a pretty comfortable lead. But I do get another low ball to be flied out to the right fielder this time. Kind of surprised he didn't try to throw it to first base to throw out the man who was kind of caught in between first and second base. But we got 1 out going outside. That's a pretty nice call with the circle changeup. One more time up high. Kind of keeping these guys off balance. Not doing the same thing all of the time. Getting a good call there. It's an 0-2 count. Going high once again. Get some more cheese. Huge strikeout there. Gotta love it. 1 more out to get. And I've got a complete game shutout in my very first game as a starter here. Going inside here, shortstop with a huge play, just sliding and throwing it to the second baseman for the force out, and I get the complete game shutout. Have to imagine I'm player of the game, and I still have yet to give up a run through, gosh, 20 innings or so now, and I will get the player of the game card here, which is kind of a weird little thing they have this year, showing off some of my better pitches, I guess. And that nasty release with the kick. Kind of an awesome shot right here, though. Just shoo. Get out of here. But yes, there you have it. Zack for Maniac, 9 innings pitched, 3 hits given up, 7 strikeouts, no walks. And I've got a 3-0 record, and I got some insane points. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. It's been fun, and I got some more stuff coming out later this week. Adios.